Okay, we're going to try this again. I don't know what happened with the box and why folks who were trying to join in regards to joining the live were not allowed to join. But we're asking a question. We're going to ask you once again as folks begin filtering in here, what are the chances you will see President Trump on the ballot? And if he is on the ballot, what are the chances that he actually will win again once in 2024? I understand with my audience, there's a hell of a lot of folks out there who are diehard MAGA, certainly down with the cause for President Trump. So why the hell would I ask a question like this? Well, the last couple of weeks for the Trump administration have not been the best. And in addition to that, I make the statement that when it comes to the Biden administration, and we have to ask that question, although I don't believe President Biden will run again, and I truly hope he does not. I do believe the worst of the Biden administration is behind him. Inflation still sucks. The price at the pump is still astronomically high, but it is on the downturn. I don't believe fuel prices are going to turn around and start going back up. If you chart the price of fuel during the Biden administration, I strongly believe the prices that we were dealing with a couple months ago are going to ultimately be the highest they have reached throughout his 4 years in office. At the end of his 4 years, I believe what we just came out of is going to represent the highest gas prices. So, point is, the worst of the Biden administration has passed. Economically, he still does not hold a candle to President Trump. Period. Trump was better on the economy than President Biden. However, I'm asking a question from a President Trump standpoint. Two numbers I asked for. First number, give me two numbers. One number slash another number. The first number is the percentage of chance you believe Trump will actually even be on the ballot for 2024. Because I'm asking this because Liz Cheney may stop him from running altogether with this damn January 6th hearing. I understand some of you guys are not watching it, but it's not good for Trump. And then the next number is if he is on the ballot, what are the chances that he would actually win in 2024? So what are the chances he's going to be on the ballot to begin with? And if he is on the ballot, what are the chances he's actually going to win? Those are the two numbers I'm asking for. Now, looking in the comments, what's the percentage of chance that you're supporting a racist? You know something? Let me respond. And by the way, the box is open. I see someone is in there. I'll tell you this, because my audience is primarily MAGA. That's who the hell I love talking to because they come with the real. They tear me, they tear me apart. I love it. I love it, the civil dialogue, and we keep it civil here. But in regards to President Biden being the quote unquote racist, I would first suggest convincing more minorities. Hearing that suggests that Biden is intolerant of minorities are not minorities. When you talk to the minority, when you actually talk to the actual minorities, they point out, yeah, Biden has said some suspect shit over the years, but Trump is the one we have to watch out for. Why is that? That the vast majority of folks who think Biden is a racist are not minorities. Okay, going to the box. This is like it. You got the right one, baby, said the late Ray Charles. Right one. Good afternoon. If this thing allows you to come in. I had some trouble with bringing folks in the box, so let's see if this works. Right one. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm seeing you in the box, but it looks like you are on mute. So either that or I got something going on. Let
Yeah,
me make
what's up?
sure my here.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, I can
yeah,
hear you
yeah.
loud
I
and
can
clear
hear you.
now.
All right.
So,
Hey,
what are the chances we're going? What are the?
Trump, 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 Trump is not going to run again. First of all, because it'll be impossible for him to get any administration with him. So many people then lost money or ended up in jail. He's basically going to have to hand out pardons before they even accept the job. I don't think
Wow.
Melania's going back to the White House. She has no. I think she doesn't have any appetite to go back and do another 4 years, especially with him. And I grew up in New York. And Donald Trump to me is not a racist. He's a con
Okay.
man that loves money. You know, he, he,
So,
because
So your
he
point is
hung out with Don King.
so your,
He hung out with
so
Al Sharpton.
so your point is he's not racist, but he's rather a con
I think
man.
he went. Yeah, he loves green, and green he'll
Okay.
take green from any color there is. Like I said, he used to hang out with back in the day. He hung out with Don King, Al Sharpton, Clint. He had no problem being around people of color. See, this is what gets me. People throw the word racist out. Oh, Biden's racist. Racists don't hang out with people of color. Now, the men might go after the women. That's been proven. But
So so in other words,
racists,
so in other words, you don't think President Biden is a racist either, right?
no, no, because
Okay.
racists don't hang out. If you can't stand a certain type of person, you'll never you won't see them people be around those type of people. See, they're using the word racist lightly so it can fit a narrative. Because if I'm a racist, I'm not gonna go out here and work for a black man if I was white. I'm not gonna hire a black woman to run as vice president. You know what I'm saying? If I was
I get your
even
point.
go even with Trump, when people say Trump hung out with a lot of black people, took photos with black folks, that ain't the definition of a racist. A racist
So
wants nothing to do
why
with
do you think
people
so
of
many
color.
African Americans and even white liberals are calling a man racist? Why do you think if he's not, why do you think they're making that up?
Because they're not making it up. It's what they do. They project. If you say that Donald Trump was X, Y, and Z, a month later they'll come out and say Biden's X, Y, and Z. You have to look at the history of how they always take something. Okay, before it was fuck Donald Trump, so then they picked up fuck Joe Biden. You see what I'm saying? They pick it up and they flip it. They pick
That
it
did
up and
happen.
flip it.
What
You
about
know?
okay, let me ask
Uh,
you this. What about
yeah, yeah.
what about the racial discrimination suit that Trump was his for his properties? I'm just asking these questions. You know, he lost a racial discrimination suit with his properties. Do you think that has any bearing on this?
It, it's about money. If you had money, you could move into the buildings. Like I said, Trump is about money. He dealt with black people that had money. He deals with Muslims that have money. He has no
I
problem.
don't think
Hey,
that's how the
Saudi
yeah, but see, I
Arabia,
don't think that's not how the lawsuit went down. The lawsuit went down suggesting that he had on his application hidden methods of identifying people of color. They didn't in regards to the lawsuit, it had nothing to do with your financial
yeah.
well-being. So it didn't come out like the way you're saying. You may be
I don't.
it may be that what you're saying may be the case that happened, but that's not how it came out in court.
Well, I don't remember if those apartments were luxury apartments. I don't know if they were like regular rentals or were they luxury.
Okay.
Because if they were luxury, he couldn't care what color you was. Look, when you went to Trump Hotel, he
What
couldn't
about
care what
the
color you was. You went.
What about the common pushback in regards to the Central Park Five?
Mm. Well, I think he jumped on that train. I think he jumped on that train and couldn't get off. See, what Donald Trump likes to do, if he gets caught out there wrong, he doesn't apologize. I think he doubled down on that. Like everybody else figured that Central Park Five was guilty, and everybody knows now. Donald Trump doesn't double. He doesn't say, "Oh, I made a
Yeah,
mistake."
but everybody,
I
wait a minute,
think
but
he rather instead of
everybody did not take out a full page ad in the New York Times. He went well beyond what the average person did. And once he was told that
is
these people are not guilty, like you said, he didn't apologize. But my question to you would be, let's say he was racist or someone else did the same thing he did and that person was racist. How can you really tell the difference?
Because I believe he had made up his mind before that, though. I think Donald Trump made up his mind before they were exonerated. And by him, he probably was talking in circles about how these guys were guilty or whatever. And like I said, he doesn't really like to take something back. He never takes anything back. He never comes out and says, "Oh, matter of fact, give you an instance like when they showed him on January 6th. He doesn't like to say certain things that make him feel like he's wrong. And I think he
Right.
took that ad out just to double down on that he made a mistake and he really didn't want to take it back. You know?
Well, but
And I don't think he's
here's
going
the
to run in
problem. Okay,
2024.
let
I
me
think he's
let
going to
me
keep
make
up
it.
all
Okay,
the money he's taking.
okay, here's the issue I have. Okay, you and I are talking. Let's say based on your voice, I make all kinds of negative assumptions about you and I publicize that. And then it later turns out that my phone actually sucked and it was actually altering your voice to make it sound different than you actually sound. And I find out about that, but I don't apologize or anything. How are you to tell that what I said awful about you, I actually did not mean that? Because if you say something and then you do not follow it up with an apology, the people are left to believe you actually meant that. I mean, if you choose not to correct
True.
it, your constituents and your supporters should not have to make the excuse for you. You should be man enough, woman enough to step up and say, listen, my bad, I messed up, I was wrong about that, or I got bad information, it was based on such and such. But if you don't apologize, how can you blame people for thinking that that's actually how you felt?
That's true. I agree with that 100%. But
Yeah.
sometimes,
And that's the way,
it's about an ego.
and that's
It's
probably, yeah, and that mindset of I will not apologize is why he's being held guilty all the time for things he say. Because everything wrong you say, if you don't apologize for all of that stuff you said that's wrong, is going to be chalked up as your actual beliefs.
but this might sound silly, and I'm gonna get ready to go. This might sound silly, but I have a belief that he wanted to stay. He wanted to stay in the White House to keep his wife. I actually believe that. That's my opinion. I think
To
he
keep
wanted
his
4 more
wife,
years because yes, that's what I'm saying. Because as long as he was president, as long as he was president, he would have her under control. As soon as he wasn't president, she was on her way out, man. And I just be like, he was like, if I'm not president, I'm not going to be able to keep track of Melania like I used to. So
he can
that's just
find a
my
million
silly opinion
Melanias.
on it,
He,
man.
he can find, and
You know,
listen, I got to move
you
it on, man. I appreciate you coming through, but he can find a million Melanias. All right, catch you later.
at this age, at that age,
At this, with
uh,
that kind of money and that kind of power, yeah, at this age, he could do that.
oh, okay, I got
All
you.
right. Okay, all right. I don't know if I cut him out. I had my let me restart my Bluetooth because for some reason I got a slight.
All right, I had to put my damn helmet back on because I had the whole connection going through there, and it started giving me a delay once I took it off. Uh, Paul said you are delusional. I wish you could get in the box and tell me how. I invite MAGA to come here all day. Tell me where I'm getting it wrong at. I don't have no problem with that. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get your boy to 5,000 likes. Love Trump is like saying I love shit. Damn. John, saying you love Trump is like saying you love shit. Now, that's a pretty strong opinion. I do see a lot of Trump 2024s in there, though. Taco comment was racist, period. Yeah, who said that? Jill Biden? Listen, like I keep saying, though, I believe that President Biden would be held to a higher level of accountability for some of the questionable racial statements you guys keep bringing up. But when you put Trump out there as a potential replacement for President Biden, the minorities overwhelmingly choose Biden. They're not they're not exonerating Biden of his racist past, his crime bills, his three-strike laws, and all the things he's been involved in. They just think Trump is worse. That's the way it is. They believe Trump is actually worse. Going to Big Ivy in the box, and I see Joy. We'll go to Big Ivy real quick. Do you know a good reparations group that you could do a shout out for? There are no reparations coming. Big Ivy, talk to me.
Hey, how's it going?
You're going very well.
Yeah. I think everybody knows Trump's going to run again. He done got his plane ready and he's out there stomping.
What about the possibility of the January 6th hearings preventing him from being on the ballot? Is there any chance at all that may happen?
Not when you got witnesses on there saying that Trump was riding in the beast and choking out the Secret Service and doing all that crazy crap. So that's why MAGA don't believe January 6th, because that's impossible, because there's a petition in between there where he can't,
Well, but
but
I'm hearing that the chokeout scene happened in one of the SUVs and not the beast with the partition. That's what I've heard as a counter to that. Have you heard that at all?
yeah, but she said the beast, and the Secret Service said they'd be willing to go to court, to say that wasn't true. And another reason people don't believe in January 6th hearings, because there's no defense. That's not
Well,
really a court.
if Liz Cheney puts in a criminal charges recommendation, and I've been watching it closely, I'm starting to believe more and more that she will ultimately do that. That out of this January 6th hearing, they're going to send it over to Merrick Garland and recommend a criminal case be pursued. If they do that, you and other MAGA folks that support Trump, which is what I always welcome here, but you will get what you want, which is a defense side to speak on behalf of Trump. Because
So
right
we'll
now
get
it's just a
discovery.
hearing. Go
We'll
ahead.
get discovery and all that, right?
Yeah, you'll get everything. Because now all of these folks that are saying things on behalf of Trump, I mean, Dominion machines are not held right, ballot harvesting, dead people voting. You may start seeing a lot of the folks that said that stuff being called into court under subpoena, testifying under oath to state where they got that stuff from, which all of that is wrapped into January 6th, because that's what everybody was pissed off about, is the election being taken from Trump. So all of these
Yeah.
folks that were making these statements and stuff like that, yeah, they may get their chance or get their day in court to state that stuff under oath.
Kind of like Pennsylvania. They said that secretaries of state was taking over the elections, making new election rules and putting out ballot boxes, and Supreme Court in Pennsylvania said that was illegal.
Well, but here's the problem with that. When Pennsylvania made those changes, like you said, the Supreme Court there had their say on it. The state of Texas sued Pennsylvania for making those changes as well. And here comes the governor from the state of Montana that got on television, I believe it was CNN, and stated, we made the same changes in Montana. This is the governor of Montana saying, we made the same changes in Montana due to COVID that Pennsylvania did. But the Republicans were able to win in my state. And we're wondering, why aren't they suing us? We made those same changes they did in Pennsylvania, but because they won in Montana, they're not suing us. And it did not get a whole lot of airplay, but I think that had a lot to do with why the judges threw out the lawsuit against Pennsylvania. Is because it happened somewhere else. And they chose deliberately not to sue the other state that it happened in because they won there.
So you don't think nothing's going to come of that? The Supreme Court ruling it was illegal?
No, I don't. No, I do not. Because like I said, if you rule it illegal in Pennsylvania, you got to rule it illegal in Montana as well. In Montana are electoral college votes that went to Trump. Here's my spiel. It's always been this way since day one. If Trump wanted to suggest that the election had all types of improprieties to it, similar to what Dinesh D'Souza did a better job at doing. He should have did an investigation of all 50 states. When you're talking hundreds of millions of people, there's going to be some cheating. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's collecting an offering in church. If you got 100 million people doing something, some people are going to cheat. If he had done an investigation in all 50 states, he could have found Democratic cheating, Republican cheating, and presented all of that to the courts and said, listen, this election has had too much fraud in it to be held, and he would have had a better case. But instead, his take was, let's find fraud only in the places where I lost. If Texas, a huge state like Texas, a huge state with multiple metropolitan areas like Florida, we're just going to assume all of that was honest because I won there. Let's just go to Wisconsin. Let's go to Arizona. Let's just go to the places I lost. That begins to look like a biased investigation, and it looks like you're not really interested in making sure the election is fair. You just want to win. And his phone call in Georgia saying, I just need you to find me 11,000 votes, falls along that line. Do you want the Georgia election to be held fairly, or do you just want them to find you enough votes to win? So in my opinion, the way he did it was wrong.
He just wanted him to do his job. He just wanted him to do his job. There was so much corruption. He just wanted him to, do a little bit, get off his ass and just do a little bit.
They gave him they gave him what 2 or 3 recounts, multiple audits in all of the states he went to. How much of a job you want people to do? You got 60 court cases. I mean, how much?
You can count all you want to. You can count all you want to, but you're not doing a forensic audit. You're just counting the same ballots over and over again. That's could be illegal, could be fraudulent. You're just counting, just to be counting. You come up with the same number, but it's still wrong.
Well, to me, it's almost like you want it to keep, in other words, keep doing this until you give me the answer I want. At the end of the day, what they did, even if you feel like they didn't go far enough, what they did was legal. They did what they were required to do. They didn't have to go to this level that what you're suggesting or what Trump is suggesting they had to do. And it just looks like his take on it is, I want you to keep doing this until you give me the answer I want.
Now, I think there was a lot of fraudulent votes, and he just wanted a forensic audit. I know state Republicans voted to reject the 2020 election. Texas did, and Maricopa County wanted to reject it too.
Yeah. Well,
Arizona there's a bunch of secretaries of states going around making up rules, and all that's illegal. It's up to the state legislature to do that.
Well, if it's up to the state legislation to do that, why do you believe the Supreme Court, the federal Supreme Court, the SCOTUS, with 3 of those 9 folks only having their job because Trump gave it to them, why do you think they chose not to even listen to his case?
Because if they come up with that, there will be no protection for him. Just like Kavanaugh, he's got somebody coming to his house with a gun trying to kill him, and there's not much protection there.
So you think the Supreme Court stiffed Trump out of fear of their own safety?
Safety and, the country would be on fire.
Okay. So, in other words, if they believe that then, what's the purpose of him still pursuing things now? Wouldn't that still be the same issue?
Yeah, he's given up on the 2022, anything going in before 2024. He might be a long shot, crazy for him to be Speaker of the House.
So you think the Supreme Court feared for their lives in terms of giving Trump the election that he, in your opinion, would have rightfully won, but they didn't have any fear of their lives for rolling back Roe versus Wade, which has been a huge judicial change. They didn't have that same fear for that?
I guess they're seeing it now. I don't know, but are they getting the protection it's under the law?
Well, in regards to folks protesting out in front of their houses, those folks
Yeah.
do need to be addressed. I'm not a fan of doing that, but I disagree with your statement about they, I mean, the Supreme Court not ruling how they really felt based on being in fear of their lives. I mean, you know how many judges get threatened and rule on mob cases and rule on very dangerous folks? I mean, you can't have a court if the judges are afraid to appear on the bench. I mean, this would apply to virtually everything they rule on.
Yeah, Capone got away with it for a long time.
You said who got away
Nobody
with it?
wanted to get Al Capone.
Well, and by the way, you know they got Al Capone on tax evasion, which is another thing
Yeah,
they're going after Trump with.
yeah.
Okay, so do
But
you
they've been
think? So,
investigating him for years, and they haven't come up with much, have they?
um,
Everybody says he's going
they
to jail.
haven't
He's going to
convicted.
jail. But
They haven't convicted him of anything. I'll tell you that much.
yeah, they're talking about his taxes in what was it, Chicago owes him like $5 million.
Chicago owes Trump 5 million.
Yes.
I'm not aware of that. Where'd you hear that from?
Um, Internet is reliable sources.
You want to give me that reliable source on the internet? Who that person is, or what that source is?
I don't know. You'd have to look it up. I hate to get off here and look it
Okay,
up.
I've never heard that. Okay, fair enough. I never heard that. All right, well, I'm moving on, man. I appreciate you coming through.
All right, Biggie. Well, I'll let
All
you
right,
later.
all right, indeed. Always welcome back. Like I said, folks, it's not about agreeing or disagreeing. I like to talk to my MAGA folks. I love to hear your take on the side. Our reliable source just fell over. Show me the facts, sir, in the box. Well, he didn't want to go in that far. And someone said it was 500,000, not 5 million, which is 1/10 of 5 million. My pillow guy told him. Shout out to Mike Lindell. The Cyber Symposium. That was his Dinesh D'Souza moment. I actually believe Dinesh D'Souza did a better job of showing some election impropriety than Mike Lindell's 3 day long cyber symposium. I watched that. I watched all 3 days of that. Let me look at the comments. Handsome in body got the same bike helmet. Oh yeah, I love the Cena. That's what you guys are actually hearing me through, by the way. There's a microphone right up here at top, and I'm getting bit up by damn bugs out here, but I got speakers right above the ear, so that's what we're talking through. Dinesh went to jail for cheating on elections, though. That is true, and let me say it like this: I watched 2,000 Mules half a dozen times, and I watched it with an open mind. Took notes and everything. Had a couple of live broadcasts on it, and I will say this: if a left winger tried to defend, let's say Hunter Biden right now looks guilty as hell. If you had a left winger that was as biased as Dinesh D'Souza, I couldn't even begin to have a conversation with my MAGA followers with anything that person produced. I mean, it would be the equivalent of, I mean, who the hell could defend Hunter Biden that's extremely far to the left? Anderson Cooper or, somebody like that. If I came on here and tried to give you information that came from Anderson Cooper, CNN, or MSNBC, Rachel Maddow or somebody, and said, see, this proves that Hunter Biden is innocent, you guys would left me right out of here. Meanwhile, Dinesh D'Souza was pardoned by Trump, and he's about as far to the right as you can be. So, but I did entertain it, even though the dude is biased as hell. I did entertain it. Okay, going to mark time in the box. What is the chances Trump's going to run again? What are the chances Trump will be on the ballot? I think he will run,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
what are the chances that Liz Cheney might, with that January 6th hearings? I understand a lot of MAGA want to blame it on the liberals, but January 6th, for the most part, is a Republican hit job on Trump. I mean, all of the folks testifying, you don't see Nancy Pelosi talking on TV at all. All of that shit's right
Yeah, they're
wingers.
all
So
Republicans. Yeah,
yeah, so why do people keep blaming the liberals for January 6th?
because they need someone to blame because they cannot accept fault on their own.
Okay, it could be. I can live with that because
When was the
I'm
last
hearing.
time they admitted that they backed the wrong horse? It's just like against human nature to admit that you were wrong because you devoted so much time, to believing and peddling and supporting it, and so like to admit that you're wrong, it's like is like a tacit, like endorsement of the other side, and that's just beyond.
And real quick, by the way, I often see Ray Epps, and I see his name popping up in the comments. Now, I read an article on Ray Epps. You guys
Yeah,
did that man. You guys did that man dirty. That man had to
they really did.
move. Yeah, they did that man. The information on Ray Epps is incredibly false. That guy is in
Yeah,
hiding. I mean, just ruined that man's life. So, and I
it's
still
really
see his
sad
name
because
coming up.
yeah, for people who like cry like false flag, like January 6th was Antifa, like the fact that they
Right.
can do that to that man and throw him
Yeah.
under the bus, a nobody, never, like, I mean, he was there, but like, like
Yeah, he was
calling
MAGA
him a
though.
Fed, and
He was actually
yep,
MAGA.
yeah,
He's not
super
an
sad.
FBI plan. He was MAGA. But
Yeah,
the thing is, that is why I'm asking about Trump on the ballot, is because
yeah.
it looks like the party, particularly starting with President Trump, will cannibalize their own at the slightest sign of indiscretion.
I'm really glad you said that, actually, and it's funny you guys touched on the Al Capone thing at the end, because I do my little notes over here, and Al Capone is actually the third thing I wrote down. So it's so funny you guys brought that up. But I actually have kind of a different take, that Trump running is actually the best thing that can happen. Like
No,
just
I'm not saying if it's the best or worst. I'm actually just simply asking, will it happen?
yeah, no, he absolutely will. He needs to avoid charges. Like it's really his like last ditch effort to like avoid any kind of like accountability. But like he's lived his life, and this is why I was thinking Al Capone, of like Al Capone wasn't like, he didn't get caught red-handed. They got him for tax fraud.
No, they
Like
got him for tax
Trump's going to
fraud.
go under for like, I mean, maybe some criminal stuff comes out of January 6th. Like he's definitely going to be like on the stand and get hauled in by the Justice Department at some point. But like, I mean, Mark Meadows or some sap could fall for that. But like, the New York City real estate, like inflating prices when you sell, and devaluing before you buy, like all that, like property flipping, like Georgia and the find me 11,000 votes, like the way that he has lived his life like a mob boss, putting in unqualified people around him, finding loyal followers, his family, yada yada, making sure those people get paid. Like when the heat comes on, like those people sold their souls already. So when the when the feds come knocking, those people tend to flip, and we're
It's
not.
interesting. It's interesting you would say that, because I watch the Sunday shows every Sunday. This week with George Stephanopoulos,
Yeah.
Chuck Todd. I watch Chuck Todd on NBC. Meet the Press is what that one is called. So I watch
Yeah, I
all
hate
those. And
Chuck
one of
Todd.
the
Chuck
things,
Todd's the worst.
yeah. So what? But I like to guess. They have right wing
Yeah.
and left wing guests. But one of the things that Adam Kinzinger said on
Yep.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos this morning, he said, is that 5 years from now, he believes, due to what's happening with Trump, he said 5 years from now, no one is ever going to admit they supported Trump. Does that make any sense?
So, if it's no, that will there. I mean, there are still some like Tea Party people like rolling around, like Joe Walsh or whatever. Like there. So there's still going to be, it's going to wane. Like January 6th, this man is not gaining voters. Like this January 6th stuff has really like dragged him through the mud. He's become a liability. A lot of people are already shifting to like, well, maybe DeSantis. Like he just doesn't come with as much baggage, and so the problem, and where this comes in to like an actual head, and why I said it's the best case scenario, is you're talking about his diehard followers, if he is running, will absolutely not vote for anyone else. And so
Yeah.
if DeSantis and him are going head to head, and you have the people who are like, well, I was a Republican, I either didn't vote or voted for Joe Biden because Trump really screwed me during COVID. Like people like my brother, who goes to work, he takes his kids to softball games, and he goes home. He wanted Trump equals good economy to him, but he recognized that Trump was a disaster for COVID, knew it was bad, lied to people, yada yada. He saw all that play out, and so he voted for Biden as like a pragmatic,
Wow.
like, all right, we
Wow.
can't have this guy anymore. And I think the January 6th stuff, even if they don't like it, even if they want to call it a witch hunt, even if they want to call it a kangaroo court, like it's happening, guys. Sorry. Trump
Yeah.
is gonna, some people are gonna fall for this. It was an attack on our government.
Okay,
Yeah.
speaking of that, well, first of all, I'll give you the spiel on why I believe Kinzinger said that. When you
Yeah,
look at some of our history in this country, let's say the Jim Crow shit, you see the pictures of how many
yeah,
folks are out there. I mean, I'm not trying to make a racial argument, but I'm just trying to make a point. How many
I know
folks you
what you
would
mean.
see on video spitting on a black girl because they didn't want her to attend a white school, and
Exactly. Yeah,
there was a large amount of support in favor of segregation and keeping blacks out of schools. But now in 2022, you would be hard pressed to find anyone that admit they supported segregation, even though they're not all
yes,
dead. And that's what
absolutely,
I think that's the point they're making in regards to President Trump is that
exactly.
supporting him will in the future become so unpopular that
Right.
folks are not going to want to admit that they once supported the man. That's what I believe that Kinzinger was trying to allude to.
Right. Well, if you look in the comments, it says Trump Rittenhouse 2024, and like one, he's not old enough to be vice president. Like you've turned your personality into trolling. Like MAGA is like they like Trump because he gives a middle finger to like educated, well-off people, like people with pronouns, which is everybody. You have a pronoun, whether you
Right.
want it or not. But like, it's just like Trump is just a middle finger to, like, quote unquote, anything that makes them mad, like the media, the system, everything to blame for your like miserable life is like at fault. And so Trump comes in. They don't care that he's dumb. They don't care that he's a mob boss. They don't care that he hires his family because he's there to crap on, he makes a mockery of it. Like he embarrasses us on the world stage, but they just don't care because they want to get back at people who have looked down on them their entire lives, or so they think.
Well, so speaking of him wanting to get back, what if he wins in? Let's say he actually wins in 2024. Let's speculate. What do you think America would be like under a second term of Trump?
You don't have to listen to me. You can listen to Steve Bannon. The audio came out, and he already said what a second Trump term would be like. He said he would never have to go in front of the voters again, and so he would just like personally troll everybody. He would ruin every institution. He would do whatever he wanted. I'm sure he would try and like extend his term. I'm sure he would try. And he would just go scorched earth. Like, and Bannon said all this again. You don't have to believe me.
So
It's
you
audio.
believe that if Trump won again, he would try to completely change democracy and go beyond 4 more years.
He would attack everybody. He would burn every system down that he could. Just to like troll the libs, like to own the libs.
Wow.
And again, like, I mean, it's the Steve Bannon audio already came out. This was like 2 weeks ago now, 10 days ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've heard some of that. I didn't hear the part you're talking about, but wow.
No,
So
he talks about like the whole like the Red Mirage piece about he says stuff like our people like voted in person and so if Trump is winning the night of, he's going to declare victory, and if he's not winning, there's going to be like it's going to be wild, like it's going to be even crazier than that.
you know
Bunch of stuff about
the crazy thing is I remember because I've been debating with right wingers. I started out doing it on the radio. Used to call in, talk to Fox, Bill O'Reilly, and Tom Sullivan, and all of those folks. And there was a actual book because I remember debating. I think it was John Gibson on Fox. I was debating them about it. It was actually called Obama's third term. They said the same thing about President Obama. And back when he was running for re-election in 2012, that if he got re-elected, he was going to try to, basically stay in power forever. And it was an actual book written called Obama's Third Term. So I don't know.
so
Go
the
ahead.
difference there is that would be like if I said that, like if that was me saying that, and I was just like some like tinfoil hat, like soft, squishy, like liberal who's like, oh, Trump's gonna extend his term and blah blah blah. Like that's different. It's coming from the call is coming from inside the house. It is Steve Bannon, his chief strategist, whom he pardoned. Who like Steve Bannon, who like robbed Trump's followers in that like fake wall GoFundMe. Like these are not things that these words came out of his mouth. He is a close Trump ally.
Well, and let me respond to one of the comments. 11 Butterflies. Your comment says, "Are you still love your life because it was not an extreme bias, but it's going too far to the left?" I think you're suggesting that you enjoy my content, but it's starting to go too far to the. Make no mistake about it.
something that I don't have any control over, but my audience is growing. I started out with a predominantly MAGA audience, but I am willing to take opinions from both sides of the aisle. I am having more and more liberals join the program, and I don't, I'm not going to ban their calls from coming on. So when I get liberals in the box, they're going to talk on a liberal side of the aisle. You know what I represent because it's in my name, but I try to be as moderate and try to be as professional as I can, regardless of what side of the aisle the callers are on. But make
Yeah,
no mistake about it. Yeah, my audience is growing, and it's starting to be liberals. Liberals are coming in too, so there's nothing I can do about that. But go ahead,
I would
Mark.
encourage that person to like unpack like why is what I'm saying making you uncomfortable? And if you cannot like duck go or Google any of the stuff that I'm saying and like please like hop in the box or let's have a discussion. I would encourage anyone who, if you actually have anything of substance to say, to like say it. But I am not making this stuff up. There is audio. There is a recording of the man saying it himself. I'm not making up stuff about the GoFundMe like Steve Bannon
Yeah.
taking money from Trump voters about the wall. Like these are things that you can easily find. It's not. I mean, like seriously, like really. That's all I'm trying to say is, if it didn't happen, then you.
Yeah,
I mean, it did happen.
I
So
don't
don't
have.
get upset about it. Don't get mad about me about like reality. Like the
Yeah, I don't
January
have a
6th
problem.
hearings. Like I don't make that up. They are. A lot more people are watching them, and it
Well,
is like
and that's the thing.
affecting
A
his
lot of the
polling.
things, yeah, and that's the point. A lot of the things that you
Yeah.
may say, or I may say, or another liberal may say, is going to sound like fruitcake stuff. Because if you're
Right.
not watching the January 6th hearings, we're talking about stuff that
Yeah.
you are totally unaware of.
You don't know
And
how
if
devastating this is. You're not paying attention
yeah,
to and who it's working with is independents. It's not changing the minds of hardcore base voters. They're not
yeah.
trying to get
Well, I
the
would,
lefty crazies,
something. In
and the
all
MAGA people can't
honesty,
watch it.
yeah, in all honesty, I don't think it's changing much in regards to MAGA. But you said independence. I
It is
would
yeah.
also go further. I would go further than independence and say it's also starting to affect conservatives. Make no mistake about it, folks like Chris Christie, who there's no way you're going to
Right.
tell me Chris Christie is a rhino or a liberal by any sense of the word. He's not. He's not an
Yeah.
independent. And Chris Christie is on television
Right.
pointing out the fallacies of Trump every damn Sunday. So, and Liz Cheney is not an independent. Liz Cheney is not anything
I
other than a
disagree with
Republican.
everything she has to say on a policy
Right.
perspective, but that woman is like a legit
Yeah.
like she's like a stalwart. She has like stood and took it, and so has Kinzinger, and it riles their jimmies. They just can't take it. They cannot take being presented with a mirror of what they've turned into.
Yeah. That's starting to look that way. All right, man. Well, I got to move it on. Appreciate you
Yeah,
coming through.
please
All
do.
right.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Always welcome back. Like I said, folks, if you are MAGA, God damn it, come in the box. You are who I want to hear from. It's not like I'm deliberately picking out liberals. I'm picking out callers. If you call into the program, I'm gonna put you on. I'm not here. And how would it look if I made a point of saying I'm a huge proponent of free speech, but then I ignored every liberal caller to the box? That's not free speech. That's as biased as any damn thing else in the box, anything else that could happen. So I just want to say that. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next caller. And I have, this is the other Harris. The name does not sound familiar, so I don't know what his politics are. But
It's me.
he is coming on. Oh, is this Harris Jordan?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so here's a right winger for you guys, strong MAGA supporter.
They
Okay, I'm
they
asking.
they they banned all of my accounts for no reason.
I'm gonna tell you something. Since I started talking with MAGA online, I've gotten censored and blocked a lot. I truly am starting to believe that when right wingers suggest that the media is unfair to them, I'm starting to believe that. But make no mistake about it, even though I strongly believe the media, particularly the mainstream media, does not like MAGA, I like you guys. So fuck them. We can talk here. All right, what's on your
Right.
mind?
Well, I just want to clarify a few things. So the right wingers were not the ones that said that Obama was going to have a third term. Obama himself on TV said that he wanted a third term, where he just sat in his basement and could, through an earpiece, tell the president what to do and what to say. He literally said that on camera.
Okay.
So
Well, let
that's
me.
not us saying that. That's not a
Okay. All right.
conspiracy theory from
Okay.
the right. Those are
Okay.
Obama's words.
Here's my issue with that. Just like the folks suggesting that Barack Obama said he was born in Kenya. When Barack Obama was president and I was debating right wingers, you guys didn't believe a damn thing he said. The talking point was, we know he's lying because his mouth is moving. But for some reason, anytime he said something you guys agreed with, suddenly you were taking that as the gospel truth. If you don't believe the man, then you wouldn't have believed the third term shit either. You wouldn't have believed the born in Kenya shit either. You can't pick and choose when you think the guy is telling the truth or not. Either he's a liar or he's not.
I never believed.
I'm not talking about you. I'm not
the
talking about you
Kenya thing.
specifically. I'm
And
talking about the right.
Okay.
You-
So,
okay, so
I was trying to
go
remember
ahead.
a few of the other points that said. Um,
Well, we're asking
you
if
can't
I'm
sit
asking
there
a question of
and say,
you're breaking up.
go ahead. Am I? Damn it. Okay.
Harris, can
I'll
you
have
hear
to
me?
call back in later.
Okay, yeah, you're breaking up. All right, Harris. And by the way, me and Harris go way back. Me and Harris has been talking for a while. Unfortunately, it sounds like he has a bad signal. So, and I can't even hit the X on his name. So he's still in the box. So I'm trying to bring somebody else on here, but the way this damn app is working right now, it's like somebody is out to freaking get me. But shit, I cannot disconnect the guy. What the hell? All right. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the comments real quick until I can figure out what the hell's going on, because I cannot drop him, and he's not actually on here live anymore. There we go. All right, I had to drop him out of here. What I meant is, you used to have a more moderate perspective, and it feels like you've gone further left. You know something, 11 Butterflies. It depends on what is actually taking place. My perspective probably seemed more moderate because I'm willing to admit President Biden was screwing up a lot of shit. It looked horrible. If President Obama was still in office, I probably wouldn't look as moderate, because I am willing to admit a screw up is a screw up is a screw up no matter where it's coming from. That's why it seems like I'm moderate, because I'm a liberal that's willing to point out the fallacies of the left. You don't generally get that. You're either going to get folks who paint a picture as if the left is perfect, or MAGA is perfect, or Republicans are perfect. I don't do that. I'll point out shit on both sides. However, I would be giving the Obama administration far more credit than I'm currently giving the Biden administration, because I believe the Biden administration is not doing very well. I don't mind admitting that. You may not get that from a lot of liberals, which is probably what makes me seem more moderate. However, when I go into MAGA chat rooms, I'm occasionally going to other folks' lives, and when I go to MAGA chat rooms, a lot of them, you start pointing out anything negative that Trump did, and they have zero tolerance for that. It's almost a belief that the 4 years of the Trump administration was ran perfectly. There is nothing to criticize. And even if you're a Republican criticizing the Trump administration, well, shit, you're a rhino. You're bought out. You're paid for. So I try to avoid being like that. Let me go to the box. Christian West, number 7. This sounds like a totally new call. I don't think we've ever talked before. If you had a left political party, we'd be seriously talking about UH and what is that? UH and UBI. I don't know what you're talking about there, Christy. Okay, West, I think this is our first time talking.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So what do you think? Do you think that Trump will be on the ballot in 2024?
Well, I mean, formally, he hasn't publicly announced anything like that whatsoever. And
Right.
honestly, I don't think he has anything to gain from running again. I mean, he's doing enough, to help other candidates in the Republican Party through his platform, through his reach. And let's be honest,
Well, but what about the notion that,
the
what
left wing
about,
media is never going to let him have a fair say in anything.
okay, and that's what's supposed to happen. You think the right wing media is going to be pro Biden or pro Kamala? I mean, they supposed to do that. That's their job. But what I'm trying to ask you, as far as you saying he has nothing else to gain, what about just simply wanting to be in power, wanting another 4 years, wanting a legacy?
It's just going to be besmirched by the left wing media anyway. So why bother? He donated all of his presidential pay to organizations, nonprofit organizations, all throughout his presidency. So, I mean, I personally, this is my own opinion. Why would he continue to subject himself to this being put in the crosshairs and attacked? He can never be right. He's always going to be wrong. Why would he do that again?
Then if let's go with what you're saying. Let's suggest that is the
No, it's not what
mindset.
I'm saying. That's exactly what happened,
Okay,
right?
well let's go with it that way. Let's say that is
It's not a
exactly what.
hypothetical. This is history.
Nobody listen. You're not hearing what I'm saying. I'm not calling it hypo. I'm saying let's say that that's the truth. I don't freaking know. We're speculating, but let's say you're 100% correct. Why
There's no
is he still
speculation at
selling?
all.
Okay, whatever it is. Why, if that is true, why is he selling on his website Trump 2024 memorabilia? If you're not going to run, why are you selling this stuff?
Okay, well, I haven't seen any Trump 24 memorabilia,
You have
whatever
not seen
that
the Trump
means.
2024
I
flag.
don't
You have
I, I
never
don't I
seen it.
don't know what I don't know what memorabilia for a
Okay,
future tense thing is. I don't explain that to
have
me.
you seen anything that
How do
says
you
Trump
remember something from the
2024?
future that hasn't happened yet?
I'm asking you a question. Have you seen anything out there that says Trump 2024 on it?
Yeah, there's lots of people that other than I forget Donald Trump. There's lots of people out there that are going to put out whatever they want to put out. What does that have to do with reality of the
You're not.
situation?
You're not.
There are rules, sir. I'm not
I'm asking
ignoring
you, but
anything,
I'm asking you.
sir.
You're ignoring the
Hold
question I'm
on.
asking you.
I'm not ignoring the question. I just know exactly where you're going to go. What you're going to do is you're going to allude to this hypothetical sense of like, oh, well, he hasn't formally admitted to anything. He hasn't
That
hasn't
ain't what I'm.
hasn't said yes. I'm going to be running for the presidency in 2024. He hasn't said that. He hasn't said that at all. Not once.
Now I'm going to ask you
So what are
again.
you talking about? What are you talking
I'm
about?
trying to explain it. You're trying to talk
You're
before
trying
me.
to explain to me
Okay.
about something that isn't going on.
Okay. I'm going to ask you this again. Trump has a website, 80810. That's his text message. He is selling stuff that says Trump 2024. Why is he
Okay,
doing that if he's
can
not
I
going to
can I
run?
ask you a question real quick?
You didn't answer mine. You didn't answer my question. You can
Why
ask
are
me
you
anything you
so
want.
why are you so obsessed with Donald Trump? Why? Why haven't
Is
you
that
moved on with
question?
your life?
Okay, but I'm still trying to get answers to that question.
Why is he so important to you?
I'm still trying to get answers to that question.
It's
You said he
I
wasn't going
don't
to
sit
run.
I don't sit and think about Donald Trump all day like you do. I don't.
I love Trump. That's why I'm
You
doing this.
I don't sit and think about him all day.
Okay, but so in other words, you're not going to answer that question.
How am I going to answer a question that doesn't exist? You're talking about
So
a
in other words,
presidency run that hasn't been announced yet, sir. What are you
okay,
talking about?
I asked a question. You stated that Trump has nothing to gain
No,
and no
what
need to
you're
run
doing,
again.
you're putting out a bunch of hypotheticals that don't exist.
Okay, let me do it this way. I'm going to be quiet for a time and let you talk. And then when it's my turn, I'm going to ask that you do the same. Give me your points.
This is your live, man. You're the host. You're supposed to be in control here. It's not about if this was my life, that would be different. But this is your life, and you're the one that's talking about all this stuff. You're the one that's always talking about Trump. Why
Okay,
is he so important to you?
because I enjoy talking about him. Is that okay? Do you go interrupt the sports conversation? Why are you always talking about the Yankees? Why are they so important?
It's bro.
Why can't I do that?
It's 2 years later. Biden
It
is
doesn't matter
president.
if it's. People are
You're
still
living in
talking
the
about George
past.
Washington.
You're
People are still
living in the
talking about George
past.
Washington. Okay, so what? I'm a historian. How about that?
Move on. Let's talk about today. Let's talk about 2022 issues. Let's talk about the current state of the real presidency.
Okay, okay. Are you done? Are you ready for me to respond now?
Are you going to live in the past or are you going to talk about now?
Are you ready for me to respond now?
Go ahead. Go ahead. You have
I
my
am talking.
permission.
Okay, thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. It's
Yes,
very kind of you.
that's what you wanted to hear from me, right?
Yeah, that is very kind of you. Now you suggest that I have your permission, and I'm asking you to be quiet so I
Right.
can speak.
That's what you wanted to hear.
Okay, thank you, and you gave it to me. So now what I am trying to suggest is that this is the topic we like. If you don't want to talk about the past, go to some place where they're talking about current topics that you think
No, I
are
don't want to live
befitting
in the
of you.
past. I
Okay,
don't want to
then
live
go
in the
with somebody
past.
living in the current. Then go find somebody living in the area you want to live. You
It's
don't
like,
have to be on this live. You don't
sir,
have to
you
be
know what you
here.
are? You're a Monday morning quarterback, but you don't
Okay,
want to
that's
get in the game.
fine.
You don't want to get in the game.
Okay. All right, call me Stephen A. Smith, Monday morning cornerback. I love it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
why are you here? If
Why
you don't
haven't
like
you
this
ran,
topic,
sir? I know you're an airline pilot. Why haven't you run for office?
okay,
Why haven't you
we
run for office?
obviously,
Why are you
all
on
right,
TikTok
okay.
and not running for office?
All right, we obviously are not discussing anything about the actual topic, so I gotta let him go. I mean, I hate banning guests and things like that. That's not my spiel to do that. I like to let folks talk, but I mean, he obviously is not going to answer any questions. He has no intentions of really having civil dialogue. We're talking about Trump. That pisses him off, and he'd rather talk about anything else but Trump. Fine, that's fine. Go somewhere. There are plenty of places to go on TikTok where they are doing that. Here we're talking about Trump. Folks say it all the time. Trump is living rent free in your head. Why are you still talking about Trump? Well, first of all, Trump is giving everybody indication that he plans to run again in 2 years. Trump is all deeply involved in all of the midterms elections going on all over the country. So, as deep as Trump is involved in Washington politics, the liberals are just supposed to be totally quiet about the number one guy on the Republican side. They're not supposed to say anything. It's not now. If Trump was like George W. Bush, out there painting pictures, and hanging out in Crawford, Texas, somewhere, yeah. Why the hell are you talking about this guy? But Trump is deeply involved. He just had a damn rally in Arizona 2 days ago. Why would you not be talking about him? He's certainly talking about you. So that doesn't make any sense. My spiel, and I'll go back to the box. My opinion, your humble correspondent, I believe folks who think that you should shut the hell up talking about Trump want you to do that because it's beneficial to Trump. Period. If you allow one side to speak and the other side is quiet, then that side that's speaking is beneficial. And that's what they want, because if it's truly in the past, then you should not just be telling me and folks like myself to shut up talking about Trump. You should also be telling Trump to shut up talking about politics. And that's just not happening. You're cheering him on and telling all of his detractors to shut up. Okay, fair enough. Let's go to political TikTok. Bring me in the box. CK, send the invite, and if I see you down there, I certainly will bring you on.
What
Trump is a liar and a criminal. Wow. Okay, political, talk to me.
what's going on?
None. Were you listening to my previous
Yeah,
caller?
and I just wanted to thank you because I never see you do that. Just tell somebody I'm done. But if they're not going to talk what you're talking, yeah, just don't deal with it, man. You take a
I
lot.
don't, but I don't like doing that because, I'm a liberal, and the last thing I want to paint a picture of is you don't want to let MAGA speak. You can't handle, what they're going to say is the truth or what. I like to let the other side speak, but yeah, he simply did not even want to discuss the current topic.
Right. And I just feel like
Yeah,
you do a lot more than you have to, and that's fine. That's your right. But even with that snacks guy, you remember you take a lot
yeah.
that you. So it's the type of person you are. That's a good thing.
Thank you.
One thing I wanted to comment on is I saw your live with the real handsome liberal.
Oh my God.
Why is he? He's. I mean, this is what I talk about with the Trumpers. And don't get me wrong, it's not just him, but they try to take. They never have something of their own. They have to take something and then, oh, I'm going to make it better. I'm going to do. It's kind of like when Trump said, oh, "Okay, Democrats came without Obamacare. I'm gonna get rid of Obamacare. And I'm gonna make it better." Why don't you come out with your own plan? Come out with where's your plan at? But
Yeah.
that's not what I got on here for. I got on here because I don't know if you saw that, but I think Trump did admit that he's going to run again.
Well, I watched the Sunday shows this morning, and they're still suggesting that he still has not officially announced he's running. I think he kind of alluded to that at his rally
Yeah.
in Arizona, but he has not officially came out and said he's running.
No.
He's kind of doing a tease, which is what I was trying to tell the previous caller who's claiming that Trump is not going to run. And then
Yeah.
when I caught him obvious dead to rights by asking him, if Trump is not going to run and you're being absolutely certain about that, why is he selling Trump 2024 paraphernalia? And obviously there's no freaking answer for that. So he decided, well, I don't even want to talk about that. Let's go to something else.
So it is what it is. But go ahead.
I think that someone said, and what are Sleepy Joe plans? I believe that if Trump runs again, I believe Joe Biden will run again. I think if Trump doesn't run, then Joe Biden wouldn't run, because I think Joe Biden thinks my best chance of winning would be Trump. But if I'm with someone new, if I'm with a Ron DeSantis, a Nikki Haley, he figures me against them probably won't have a shot. So I'll back off. But he ran against Trump once and he beat him. So,
Well, I don't think, even if Trump runs again, I personally don't think Biden is going to run again. I believe Biden, unlike Trump, I believe Biden is willing to listen to political advisors. I believe Biden is somebody where cooler heads can prevail. And I think if other members of the party in mass come to President Biden and tell him it's probably better if you let somebody else run, I think he would listen to that.
no,
Trump could really have dementia, be on his deathbed, and he would use all of the remaining strength in his body to say, fuck you, I'm running again.
no.
But Biden, I don't think would do that.
Well,
I think Biden would listen.
but I think the narrative out there, and I think what they're going to try to say is, I'm talking about the political pundits, is you have a better chance with Trump than you do with a Ron DeSantis. And that's a fact. That is a fact. He would have a better chance of running against Trump again than he
I agree
would
with
against Ron.
that. Yeah, I agree with that.
So
And not only do I agree with that, I strongly agree with that. I've said it several times that if the Republicans, predominantly MAGA, because the Republicans are going to pick DeSantis over Trump any day, it's the MAGA folks, and I tell them all the time, the amount of unity you would get in the Republican Party under a DeSantis versus you guys as MAGA calling every damn body rhinos and shit like that. Why would you pick Trump over DeSantis when you're going to get the same policies and all of that damn unity? I don't get it.
And someone said, DeSantis said he won't run, Trump run. I don't know. I think he might still run just to get his name out there. I think he might know that he's not going to win. But I think even if Trump runs, I think DeSantis will run. I don't know what
I'm
you think.
starting to think, what is it, Gavin Newsom out of California, even with all of the problems that are in California, I really think he's going to try to primary Biden. That guy's looking like he intends to run in 2024.
No.
Yes.
No. It don't work like that. They won't eat. Democrats will eat their. No, think about it though. Democrats will not eat their own. Not when it comes to.
You didn't see. Wait a minute. You said Democrats won't eat their own. You didn't see President Obama versus Hillary Clinton in 2007, or Hillary Clinton versus Bernie Sanders in 2015. We can be cannibals if the menu looks good enough.
I didn't finish that. I'm sorry. I meant to say once a president is already in office. So what I'm saying is like when Obama was running for re-election, no one was going to stand up and declare against the sitting president. So if Biden says he's going to run, they may say in their head, what in the hell is he thinking? But they'll step back. Newsom, though, if he hears that he's not running, he probably has his ads already set up.
Yeah.
So that was my little comment.
I see. Do you see any other potential liberals on the 22? Let's say Biden doesn't run. Who do you think would be on that ticket? I mean, we know Kamala would come back, but who else you think would run if Biden was not on the ticket?
I hate to say it, you're going to call me crazy, but Kamala would be my choice. If it's not Kamala, I would go with Gavin Newsom. If it's not Gavin Newsom, I probably would then go with what's that guy? He's not really known well, but it's Roy Cooper out of North Carolina.
Okay, I've heard about him. I don't know a lot about him, but you're not the first liberal that talked about him.
Yeah, he's very popular governor, so he could win North Carolina. That would put it in the bag. I like Gretchen Whitmer. I don't know if she could win, but I like her.
I like, and I know I would piss off some of my MAGA folks. I think Gretchen is a cutie. I like Gretchen. I really do like Gretchen, but we'll see. She would have a lot of problems because of her COVID issues, though.
You obviously have Amy Klobuchar. She wants it bad. You can tell. Bernie, I don't know. You think Bernie would?
Bernie is too fucking old. How old is Bernie Sanders right now? Bernie's too old.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
No.
He know that people like him. Elizabeth Warren, obviously. I think Pete
Yeah.
Buttigieg. People like Pete. I don't see it, but they see it. So you would definitely have Pete. And what's the last one I'm thinking of? Oh, the one. Lord, what's his name? Out of Connecticut. Chris Murphy.
I don't know a lot about Murphy.
Yeah. Murphy is the one doing the. He's the one that helped get the gun legislation passed.
Okay, somebody said Kanye West.
Okay.
All right, man, I gotta move it on.
Okay, talk to you.
All right, catch you later. Kanye West, my ass. All right, Kanye West can't even hold his damn marriage together. Okay, let me see here. That CK, I see you in the CK and pajama or whatever. I see that next there. I don't
Hey,
want. Hey, good. Tell it to me. I saw you in
can you
the
hear me?
comments, loud and clear, ma'am. I can hear
Okay,
you
but
loud
you
and
can
clear.
hear me. What I want to talk about is the kid who landed the plane.
You tell about I'm the captain now.
I mean, let's get to the real story. What the hell? That was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I don't know if I believe that is authentic. I think that might be a case of video editing. I can't imagine them putting him on with all those swear words. So your background is kind of windy. I don't know if you can hear me. Now, we're asking, what are the chances Trump's going to be on the ballot in 2024? CK? Okay, apparently she either can't hear me or something. I'm hearing background there. Somebody says GTA forever. Let's go right back to the box. The only Jemmy. Let's see what's going on. 2024, is this man going to be on the ballot? You think Liz Cheney may actually stop him from being allowed to be on the ballot at all? Keep in mind, it's not just the federal issues from Liz Cheney, but the state of New York, the state of Georgia, state of Arizona, they are all gunning for President Trump. I know he escapes a lot of shit, but there is a lot of shit out there to escape. But Jamie, talk to me.
I think you're right. There's a lot of, and I think we talked about this maybe last time I was in your live a little bit. I think there's a lot of stuff that going against him, and I certainly would never vote for him again. But you know, if we're looking at will he? I think he's going to put his name on the ballot. That way, he at least gets to keep all the money that he scammed all the people out of or whatever. But I think that he's going to get nailed in the primary. And it's funny because I don't know if I said this in your live or I was talking to somebody else about it, but I think people aren't talking much about the guy. And I think by the time all this comes out, I think Mike Pence is going to be the guy that wins the nomination.
I meant, that's a good point, because I meant to do a live on that, and I was going to title it, What About Pence? Pence is operating behind the scenes. Make no mistake about it, for you guys who think that Cheney had it in for Trump or she's a rhino or whatever. Out of everybody that Trump really fucked over, Mike Pence qualifies as the top of the ticket. I mean, that guy he was down with Trump for 4 years, being at rallies, holding his own rallies, speaking on behalf of Trump constantly. And it does appear as though Trump was down with having that man lose his life on January 6th. So if anybody if anyone has a motive to put a shank in Caesar, so to speak, it would be Mike Pence. It would not surprise me at all if Mike Pence announced he was going to run, not even thinking he was going to win, just to divide the vote. So, I'm going to do a live title, What About Mike Pence? Because I think he is a real entity out there.
Well, I think a few things that, and again, forgive me if I said this in our last conversation. I've just had this conversation with a bunch of people about Mike Pence, because Mike Pence is one of those people. You're talking about, potentially uniting the party with a DeSantis, maybe. I don't really know. Like, he's popular among Republicans, but amongst independents, he's really not. I think Pence is your guy, and here's the reason why I'm going to say that, because if you've been watching the January 6th hearings,
I'm gonna let you continue, but I know where you're going, but I'm gonna let you continue. But I want to read one comment that's along this line. Levin Butterfly said, "Good Lord, nobody really was going to try to hang Pence. That is so ludicrous." I just want, for you guys who are watching in the comments, I want the word live or die. Just put that in the comments, live or die. What would have happened
if a crowd of protesters had got their hands on Mike Pence. Remember, the Secret Service got him out of there. But let's assume the Secret Service, they didn't get there in time, and a crowd of protesters had got their hands on Mike Pence. Live or die, what would have been the outcome of that? All right, go ahead there.
All right, so the thing that I'm gonna have to walk through this just a little bit. If you're watching January 6th hearings and you're watching the results afterwards, so like the polling that's happening after all this information has came out, you're seeing a shift, and it's not minor. There was a 10-point swing from people who thought Trump should not run again versus who thought he should run again after watching the hearings. So even if they're not saying he's criminally liable, they're saying that he comes with too much baggage to run again. And I really think that if you are looking at Mike Pence, for example, he is getting more and more popular because people see him as a heroic type of guy for staying in the Capitol, despite the fact that people were trying to kill him. So, like, it depends how the next year or so goes as far as public opinion. But Mike Pence might come out of this thing shining. Like, I realize right now, MAGA people think he's a traitor, but real Republicans see him as a hero. So, like, there's a huge swing that could happen there, and he just might be able to step in, take the election, and win. Like, I'm going to go a step further. If Joe Biden tanks for the next year, he maybe could win.
You think there's a chance Pence could run and actually win? Wow.
It depends on how the next year goes for Democrats. Like, okay, so if gas prices drop another $1 a gallon and inflation gets under control, you're probably going to see Democrats for the next 4 years. But if it stays out of control and things don't look good, let's say we get that, let's say we get the depression that we're actually looking for economically. Let's say that actually happens. It probably will. Then you're going to see a chance Republicans could take over in a few years. If Trump runs, and wins the nomination, I don't think he wins the presidency. But
I'm gonna say it like this.
Anyone else,
I'm gonna say this. Only way I think you get a Pence victory is a Trump passing away. Because if Trump is alive and Pence runs, Trump is going to be trolling that guy the entire campaign, and there are plenty of MAGA that would not vote for Pence just because Trump is telling you that this guy's a traitor. He gave the election away to the liberals, etc. I cannot imagine. I mean, shit, if I was a betting man, Pence getting the nomination on the Republican side, I'd probably give 5-1 odds on that. I cannot imagine that. You could be right, but I would not be in the camp of believing that at all.
Yeah, I just think that really is going to depend, and that's why I said that as a caveat. I think it's going to depend on how the January 6th whole thing wraps out. Like if it comes to a point of where it's Mike Pence or Kamala Harris, Mike Pence has a chance to win that.
I don't know. Here's why. I'll let you continue, but here's why I say.
Go ahead.
When it came down to Governor Kemp in Georgia, longtime Republican, Governor Kemp did not call the election the way Trump wanted. Trump started talking about endorsing Stacey Abrams. Trump will burn your ass just for the sake of burning your ass. So if it comes down to Mike Pence and Kamala Harris, I can see Trump saying, that black woman actually ain't that bad. I'm just telling you. So, I don't know. About that.
You might be right. Yeah. You might be right. But you know what? I didn't even consider, because these guys are so old. And we were talking about Bernie being really old earlier. But and here's the other one. If Trump dies, you might be right. That might be the way for Mike Pence to find his way into the White House. So he's got those dreams. But I'm going to go to the other side for a second. What happens if Joe Biden passes away in the next year or so? How much does that change the landscape for somebody like Kamala Harris, who would inherit the presidency? Like, could she win a second term like that?
It would be if Biden passed away before the end of his term and we got to see Kamala Harris, it would be incredibly beneficial to Kamala Harris, because right now people think she's clueless based on her California experience and she's with the Biden administration. But if Biden was to leave us and she actually had a year or so in office, now she has something to actually run on in 2024 and can say, I did this or that, or folks can say you failed at this or that, but she would actually have experience. So it would be beneficial to her if Biden was to leave us. I don't want to lead this to any conspiracies, but it would be beneficial to her if Biden was to disappear, because, she would now be able to say, that year I was in office, this happened or that happened.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're sitting here talking about two potential candidates for president, one from either side of the aisle, and that it may benefit them to have the leader of their party pass away. Like, that's absolutely insane. I can't, like, we
Hey,
would never said that about anybody else, right? I mean, except for maybe
you
back
you
in the
know
Ronald Reagan era when he was.
you know how it would be if Grandpa was 80 or 90 years old and you knew you were going to inherit a bunch of money when he passed away. Like, shit, Grandpa, you can leave us now. And that's what people are looking at. Hey, the sooner you get out of here, the more I can get my hands on that inheritance. And that's what people could be looking at it like.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you move it on. I just wanted to say, I've been sitting here thinking about that for a while. I'm like, I think Mike Pence is a guy I think people are underestimating him. I think maybe even his supporters are underestimating his potential.
I think it's a really good chance. Mike Pence does not want to see Trump president because of the way he did Trump, or way he did Pence. So catch you later, man.
All right, boss.
All right. Okay, for you guys, I've seen, I think, 11 butterflies, and some of you guys in there are like, well, they were not going to hang him, it was just a chant. Well, shit, everybody held Black Lives Matter accountable for what they were chanting. I mean, you're talking about a whole bunch of angry people going down the street, setting fire to buildings, or you're talking about a whole bunch of angry MAGA breaking into the Capitol building, scaring the shit out of the Secret Service and scaring the shit out of the Capitol Police. Why would you believe the chants of Black Lives Matter, but say that the chants of MAGA are not real? If you're chanting that you're going to kill me while breaking in my house, goddammit, I think you're going to kill me. I mean, you're breaking into the Capitol building, and you already got the gallows on the lawn, and now you're in the building looking for the man, and he's supposed to just walk out. Well, they're friendly; they're not going to do anything. When you got Trump out there saying that this guy's a traitor, a treasonous, and he's really sold out the country, what do you think they're going to do? Grab the gang and ask for his autograph? No. For you guys who are saying that nothing was going to happen to him, okay, I would love to have gotten my hands on the social media accounts of some of those folks and heard what they said they had planned to do if they could have found Mike Pence. And Nancy Pelosi is probably another one. Looking at the comments, nobody can stand Harris' nervous hen cackle for. Yeah, you're talking about the laugh of Harris, Kamala Harris. However the hell you pronounce her name. Hillary Clinton had that same type of laugh. You know, maybe she would do what a president's supposed to do. Stay your ass off TV. You don't need to be on the media all the time. I mean, maybe she would do that. You never know. You might not hear that cackle that much. Just do your damn job. We don't need tweets and we don't need you all over the damn place. Just do what you're supposed to do. If Trump had did that, you'd be working with a second term of Trump. Cory Booker. I like Cory Booker. In fact, I did a little bit of volunteering for Cory Booker. I got a few photos with him. Wrote on his campaign trail for a short time. Cory Booker, I wouldn't be opposed to Cory Booker. If Trump wins, Black Lives Matter will be alive again. Wow. And I agree with that 100%. Say what you want about the division under Biden or the division under Obama, but under Trump, the racial division was far worse. The summer of 2020 was kind of like the pinnacle of race riots in this country under President Trump. They started naming fucking schools, streets and shit after Black Lives Matter because the president was getting so deeply involved in it. I mean, Obama said some things that were pro-Black Lives Matter, but Trump calling them a terrorist group and things like that, yeah, he just really, really blew that whole thing up. Whether you agree with him or not, I'm just simply saying he got deeply involved in the racial politics. Colin Kaepernick, get that son of a bitch off the field. He was deeply involved in that stuff. So it blew up. Marjorie Taylor for president. I wonder what the Israelis would think of that. You know what I mean when I say Israelis, the J word. The space lasers and all that. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the right-wing version of AOC. Incredibly unpopular. Hakeem Jeffries, he would make a good president. They wanted to get rid of Barack Obama just because his middle name was Hussein. I don't know about Hakeem. European immigrants are literally, what did I say? European immigrants literally found, I'm getting the shit bit out of me, found USA because of political oppression. But y'all want to try it again. Who are you suggesting are talking about political oppression? What about Demings? You know, right now, at least on the right, I think you got a clear choice, and that's Ron DeSantis. But on the left, I don't know. I don't, if you ask me on the right, I think the right has two or three good candidates that could stand up and have a real good chance of winning, while Biden is down right now in the polls. On the left, I don't really. I mean, Gavin Newsom, for instance, I don't think he's all that reveled on the left. I think there's some far stronger candidates on the right. You just need Trump to endorse one of them, and Trump don't want to do that. This is the best chance right now for the right to lock in everything. You got Chris Christie on the morning shows today saying that if Trump announced his presidency before the midterms, it would be hurtful to Republicans in the midterms. Make no mistake about it. We're not talking liberals here. We're talking right-wingers. They want less and less of Trump in the media spotlight in regards to the midterms, because it is bad for them right now. And I'm not talking about the ones that are in deep red states. In deep red states, it is in your best interest to show love for Trump. But in swing states, it is almost like political suicide. So in those states where it is competitive voting, they don't want Trump to announce he's going to run for president until the midterm's over. They've already sustained the damage of rolling back Roe versus Wade, and 80% of Republican Congress people not voting to codify same-sex marriage rights. So the Republicans are hurting themselves in regards to what should have been an easy red wave in the midterms. I'm not here to say that the red wave may not still happen, but they are weakening it with all of this other shit happening. And if Trump steps up and runs, yeah, it's going to strengthen the Democratic base even more. And not to mention how many independents, how many Liz Cheneys that'll step up. There's a lot of Republicans. I get them on the program all the time. Folks who voted for Trump in 2016, 2020, but saying, I'm not going to vote for him this time. He's lost supporters. He has lost supporters. And that's what I mean when I say the worst of the Biden administration is behind them. But I can't say that about Trump. I think the Trump administration, because there's still more January 6th hearings to come, there's still more shit coming out of New York, there's still more shit coming out of Georgia. None of this stuff may go anywhere. I get that. Trump is a Teflon Don. None of this stuff may go anywhere. But at the end of the day, it's not helping Trump. Even if he's only losing a few voters, a few independents, none of this shit is making him gain voters. This stuff is hurting him. And it's hurting him with not just liberals, who we don't expect to vote for him anyway, but it's hurting him with independents and even a lot of traditional Republicans. That's not happening with Biden. Biden's worst shit was those $5 plus gas prices and all that kind of started to summit a couple months ago. So we'll see, but I don't know. I think it's hurting him. Let's try Gary Brown here. Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert. Choose one. That's a hell of a choice. Gary.
Hey, how's it going, buddy? How you been?
Hey, not too bad, not too bad. Gas doesn't matter. Our rights do.
So let me ask you about this. What would you think of DeSantis with Trump as his VP? That would make the MAGA crowd happy, and DeSantis has more Republicans, so Trump could kind of like do his policies, which is what everybody always points to, is his policies did help a lot of America. Before the pandemic, his policies were bringing America up. The economy was good. Jobs were up. Salaries were up. People were pretty happy.
No mistake about it. Just like some folks are saying in the comments, Trump's ego is never going to put him in second place. We all know if DeSantis was to be president with Trump as a VP, you talk about Biden as a puppet, Obama is a puppet, everybody would know that DeSantis is a puppet. If Trump is your VP, it's a Trump administration, period. So, I don't think Trump's ego would let him ever entertain being vice president. That just would not happen.
If he's the patriot he says he is, and it's all about America, because like I told you before, I really don't give a shit about Trump right now until he actually does announce it. But I know that's your topic today, so I'm just trying to throw an idea out there. If Trump is who he says he is, and he is a patriot and he just cares about America, and DeSantis would guarantee that Republican win, and he could take a step back off of his ego, what do you think that would look like? Do you think that would?
I think that would be. I'll entertain it, even though I think it'll never happen. We'll discuss it. If that was to happen, that would be a far stronger ticket than with Trump at the top. However, I have to sit down and wonder what DeSantis wants to do. Trump comes with a lot of baggage that DeSantis doesn't have. If I'm DeSantis and Trump comes to me with that shit, I would be like, respectfully, I still have a debt to the state of Florida. DeSantis can afford to wait 4 years and emerge as a superstar. He does not need to get involved with the baggage of Trump because he is in good standing with the Republican Party right now. Don't even get involved with Trump because if things don't go the way with Trump, you know that this guy he'll throw DeSantis under the bus just like he did his own vice president the last time. So if I'm advising DeSantis, you still have a lot of youth in you. Why not just run in 2028? Don't get involved with this guy. Don't let this guy, dirty you up. I mean, Jeb Bush had a really good chance of becoming president. Now that he got involved with Trump, his whole career is over with. Same thing with Hillary Clinton and a whole bunch of other ones. Mike Pence's career is probably over with. Don't get involved with this guy while you have such high poll numbers. Just wait it out. Let Trump do what he's going to do, and you can emerge after Trump is out of the way. I wouldn't, Don't get on a ticket with Trump. That's not good for Mike Pence. I mean,
Okay.
for Ron DeSantis, that's not good.
I see that. It was just an idea, and I just wanted to throw it your way and discuss it a little bit. But
yeah, I would be strongly against that. If I'm in the DeSantis camp, I would be strongly against that. You got in 2028, you would still be a strong candidate. I mean, don't get involved with Trump because, I mean, there's a lot of QAnon conspiracies and all that shit that's tied to Trump that historically will not be judged well. I don't know what's going to come out of Trump if he's going to win in 2024 or not if he runs, but January 6th is not going to be judged well in regards to the Trump administration. It's just not. And the last thing DeSantis needs to do is link that to his own administration.
The only problem I have with the January 6th thing, and I haven't watched the hearings or nothing, but I mean, there is evidence that there were FBI players announcing let's go in the night before and stuff like that, undercover FBI guys or whatever. But
where'd you get the evidence from?
They were asking the FBI director about it in the House. I think it was the Judiciary Committee, if I remember right, like a month ago. There were videos going over around TikTok where they were specifically naming the guy. I can't remember his name now.
Here's the point I'm trying to make. All of the evidence that defends Trump or defends the MAGA protesters, such as folks being let in the building and things like that, the MAGA folks believe all the evidence that defends him, but they disagree with all the evidence that goes against him, even though in most cases that evidence is coming from the same source. So if the FBI says something that's beneficial to Trump, they believe that. But if they say something that's not beneficial to Trump, it's a lie.
Oh, I got that. Well, my whole opinion on leaving the politicians out of it completely is, I mean, that's the people's house at the end of the day. We pay for it. Our taxpayers pay for it. If we want to go in it, we want to destroy it. It's just like going into my house. If I want to go in my house, take a sledgehammer into the walls, should be able to. I pay for it. It's my house. They call it the people's house. So that's
you
where
can't come in there like that though. You can't come in there when there are people there working and you got them scared for their damn lives. You're yanking the partitions out of the Capitol Police's hands, and you can't come in there like that even if it is your house. You can't do that.
Well, I'm not saying whether it was right or wrong. All I'm saying is, if you're going to call it the people's house, the people should be welcome there all the time. And the fact that they got it fenced in and have had it fenced in for over a year now. Like they want to protect themselves.
Yeah, but they didn't.
A year ago, they were saying fences don't work. Fences don't work when it comes to the border. Or a year before Trump got out of office. So fences don't work. But I'm going to surround myself with a fence, and it's called the people's house. But the people aren't welcome anymore.
Yeah, but you can't. Listen,
but that's a whole other discussion. I'm just.
But no, hear me. If it's the people's house, that means it's your house and my house as well. So that means I can't go in that house and destroy the damn house and make it so that there's nothing left for you to visit. You can't go in somebody's office and steal shit off their desk and all that. It's the people's house. That don't mean you get to ransack it.
Oh, I get that. I understand that. But I mean, we can go to the riots too. And I heard you bring it up earlier. The riots where they were burning down cities and stuff. I was.
But that's a whole different conversation, though. That's nervous as shit. Yeah, but the riots are a state crime.
Driver going through that.
Yeah, but that's a state crime. Then you go after the governors and stuff that did not address that. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about now. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like some Black Lives Matter protesters did not get away with some shit. I agree with that. Same thing with the protesters at the Michigan Capitol building, doing all of that shit because they didn't want to wear a mask. They committed crimes too. I'm fine with that, but that's a state crime. We're talking about federally what they did at the Capitol building. Even if it is your house, you can't do that. You made the house uninhabitable for future visitors. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, her whole damn office is getting ransacked and robbed. You can't do that under the guise that it's the people's house.
Oh, I understand that, and I'm not advocating for crime, but
Okay.
oh, there was something else I wanted to say. I lost my train of thought. Shit. Well, whatever. I just wanted to come in and bring up that DeSantis with Trump as the VP and talk to you about that a little bit and just bring it up. You know me, I try to come here and be cordial with you, man. I like talking to you.
Always. It's always a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure. I appreciate you coming through.
All right, take it easy, buddy.
Absolutely. You too. Catch you later, man. All right, looking at the comments, I'm going to have to wrap it up soon simply because my device is running out of power. Why didn't Nancy approve the military? According to, was it Barr, America's top cop, Barr that testified against Trump? He suggested that it was Trump's job to do that. So even if Nancy Pelosi did not meet her duties, you'd have to ask if Trump met his duties that day as well. It looks like when that stuff was happening, President Trump did nothing at all. Unless the argument is, well, he didn't have a duty to do anything. He should have just simply watched it happen and left it up to everybody else to do something. And if that's the case, why the hell was everybody calling him? So I don't know where else to go with that. Yes, only the press can do that. And I've been talking to MAGA about this constantly, and there's no way I'm going to ever believe that when January 6th was going down, the president had no power to do anything. That he sat there and watched that because he didn't have any power. And a lot of folks are saying that. Now, somebody is saying Trump ordered it and Nancy had to approve it. That's not what came out at the hearings, though. At the hearings, they suggested that Trump never ordered anything. Remember, they're suggesting that Trump did not do anything to stop that from happening. So, the problem here is that a lot of folks are not watching the hearings, and others have already made up their mind on what they believe is true or not. Like I was telling the other caller, you believe the FBI when they say things that are beneficial to Trump, but then when they say something that's not, well, they're telling a lie, and I don't trust the FBI. Because any of the things that happened there that day, unless you were there, my general question is always, well, who told you that? If you're not there, who told you that? And why do you believe them? And in most cases, the stuff they believe is either coming from the media or the government. And my immediate response is, you don't believe the media or the government. So why are you using their information to defend Trump? Did you change your mind and you now believe the media and the government? So that's where I get that from. But anyway, folks, listen, I got to roll it out. I appreciate you guys coming through. 10,000 likes. Enjoyed it. Catch you guys in probably a couple hours. I'll be on here from the makeshift studio. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I'm out.